and enemies, heroes and villains, welcome to Epic Realms cocktail making. One more time, coming at you. So, we have done our first video. You've seen it, but are you ready for the next one? So this is it's kind of a mishmash. This is going to be talking a little bit about some of the add-ons and mixers and little things that will enhance or change the flavor that will be asked for. And I'll talk a little bit about each of them, and we'll get into kind of what some of the things do, maybe even mention some of the drinks that they're in, if I can think of them, because, you know, memory and all that. Again, guys, we're going completely no script here. I'm going off the top of my head. We're just going to enjoy this video because I'm a normal human being, you're a normal human being, and there's no production. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, guys. These series of videos were made because my Twitch community is enjoying the cocktails that I make and I have on stream, so I decided to show them how to do it. I am not a bartender. I've never been a bartender. I know people who are bartenders. I've learned a lot. I've cooked in restaurants. I've worked in places that had bars, that had bartenders. My mom was a chef. I have a decent palate. I can do all kinds of stuff. And I've even taught some classes to people on making some of these cocktails. Am I a professional? No. Can I impart my wisdom onto you, things that I have learned, in a way that maybe you can more easily understand? I sure hope so. That's the point of these videos. So, to my community, to those who aren't in my community and are just finding this video, welcome to Epic Realms. Now, when you're making cocktails, there's all kinds of things that get added to them, whether it's lime juice, lemon juice, Worcestershire sauce, salt, pepper, cherries, garnishes, all kinds of things. So I'm going to go over some of them. We're going to stay away from the liqueurs right now, which is all the flavored alcohol, the things like schnapps and things like that. We won't really talk about those today. Maybe we'll do a whole episode on those later down the road. I definitely want to do one where I just sit there and talk about rum, because that's my favorite of all time, is rum, and not that spiced stuff either. Although spiced rum does have its place in cocktail making, for sure. If you want to have a rum and Coke, you're going to have a spiced rum with Coke, usually. So, that being said, you can see my array of things over here that I have laid out. These are not by any means all of the things you can have. In fact, some of my supplies are out. I haven't been doing a lot of cocktail making over the course of the summer, but I've been doing a lot of cocktail drinking. So, that being said, this is just a spice of vodka that I have. I've infused it myself with some fatale peppers and a cucumber vodka. My neighbor taught me this particular recipe. It's really amazing. Only use 1 or 2 fatale peppers per bottle, probably 1, and infuse it for a few weeks. So, quick and easy recipe. I really enjoy it straight. Really great in a Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. That's a great place to start, is a Bloody Mary. Alright, Bloody Marys have all kinds of stuff in them, right? A lot of people use tomato juice or V8 or Clamato. What a lot of people don't really understand or know is that other things often go in a Bloody Mary, like creamy horseradish sauce. Some people just use regular horseradish sauce. This is also found in other drinks as well. Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire sauce, if you don't know how to pronounce it. So, I probably didn't pronounce it right in any of those iterations. Either way, that is another thing that goes in cocktails. A Bloody Mary is kind of a unique thing. It's more of a savory drink. Oftentimes you hear about sweet drinks like daiquiris and margaritas and stuff like that. A Bloody Mary is a little bit different. It's savory. Obviously, tomato juice, Clamato, which is like a clam juice, which is actually, I kind of like the Clamato more than the tomato juice. Some people make it themselves, some people make it homemade. There are billions. Billions, I'm sure, is a wrong number, but a lot of recipes. I actually have a homemade, I didn't pull it out here. Let me see if I can reach it from my little bar supplies back here. I don't have much left in here. I actually have my own spice blend for my Bloody Mary that I make myself. Maybe one day when we go over Bloody Marys, I'll explain that recipe to you all. But that being said, things like Tabasco sauce, they go in a Bloody Mary. Sometimes you want a little bit of spice, so having Tabasco sauce on hand is a thing, or whatever other hot sauce you want. If you make your own, that works too. But that is something that's in a Bloody Mary. Fruits, vegetables. You'll see videos of people where they have chickens and hamburgers on top. That's all garnishes, but it's also food, right? Garnishes should also usually be food. Sometimes you'll have a little umbrella drink, stuff like that with the umbrella, but we're talking about like things that you're adding on. And in a Bloody Mary, horseradish, Worcestershire sauce, I'm just going to keep doing it, so I'm just going to stop now. And Tabasco sauce or any kind of hot sauce is going to be awesome for those types of things. So, that being said, there are other things too. You want to look at spices. Spices like ginger and nutmeg. We got some ginger here. Ginger, nutmeg. Sometimes nutmeg just goes right over the top. If you have like a nice little Christmassy holiday, Thanksgiving, or whatever, December holiday you celebrate drink, you'll have sometimes this little foam on top, and you want to sprinkle a little nutmeg on there. If you want to do like a hot buttered rum, you could have a little nutmeg sprinkled on top, or a little cinnamon sprinkled on top. These are all little add-ons that will enhance the flavor. We talked in a previous episode about how your nose helps your taste buds. So when you smell something, you taste it. So some of these things that are right on top, it's not just the taste. When you bring it up to your drink, when you pull it up to your mouth like this to drink it, it's right there. It's coming right up, and you smell it. There's a reason that a lot of glasses have that little caved in, the little cup. It looks like a little, I don't know what you call it, the little, I don't want to say concave, I guess, but it's like almost a funnel to your nose. So when you drink it, all the aromas from the drink go to your nose because those scents enhance the flavor. So things like cinnamon and nutmeg on top will help you with the drink. It enhances it. So don't skimp. If something says sprinkle cinnamon on top, sprinkle cinnamon on top. Unless you don't like cinnamon or you're allergic to it or whatever, you get the point. I put things on here. These are usually more of garnishes. These are cherries, but I wanted to show the difference. So you'll oftentimes see these. These are your little cherries. They're always in there. You get them on ice cream at the, when you go to the whatever the ice cream store you decide to go to. It's they're maraschino cherries. They're in this little sugary juice stuff. I think they're delicious. Most kids think they're delicious. The juice is used in all kinds of things. Don't ask me about what meat departments use them for because it's gross. But that being said, maybe I will in the comments. So sometimes you use the juice of this in your drinks. It will ask for them. Oftentimes, people will say, Grenadine. They're like, oh, Grenadine is a great replacer for cherry juice. Well, it is. If you ask for like a Coca-Cola, a cherry Coke, or like a rum with cherry Coke, I used to order that all the time. I could always tell when they didn't use cherry Coke. They just used Coke and cherry juice, which is usually better for tasting, or they do Grenadine. I don't have Grenadine here. We're actually out of Grenadine. But Grenadine is a pretty staple item. If you're going to be making cocktails quite a bit, get some Grenadine. There's a lot of drinks that require it. That being said, cherry juice is a good substitute for Grenadine. Grenadine isn't made from cherries, guys. It's made from pomegranates. FYI. So, Grenadine is not cherry. There you go. I said it. Damn it. But you also have this other one. You'll see a couple different brands like these, but these are high-quality cherries. These are delicious. These are amazing. These blow the other ones out of the water. The cherry juice is thick. It's heavy. It's syrupy. It's amazing for all kinds of stuff. You'll be able to come up with all kinds of awesome recipes that use it. It's great. We talked about the ginger and the nutmeg and the spices. There are other savory things. Garlic, salt, pepper. They're going to be used in all kinds of your drinks. Speaking of salt, guys. Speaking of salt. Check this guy out, right? I probably should use my other hand. This is margarita salt. It's just a generic one. I should have grabbed a glass. But again, I didn't grab a glass because I'm an idiot and I knew it ahead of time. I was like, I'm going to grab a glass. So, in an episode where we do margaritas, I'll show how to do it. So, you get this little thing. It's got the little juicer on top. I talked about that in the tools episode that I did. It's got a little juicer on top, but inside it's got salt. Salt is awesome, especially for rimming glasses. Putting it on, when it touches your tongue, it creates this flavor profile. It gets your taste buds ready for what's to come. I can't have a margarita without a salted rim. It's not the same drink. It doesn't taste the same. I can drink it, but I will go out of my way. I will salt my own glass rim if I have to, if I'm going to have a margarita. So, gotta have that salted rim for a thing like a margarita. Some drinks have like I said, nutmeg. Sometimes they have cinnamon. Sometimes they have, if you get a Bloody Mary, sometimes they'll rim that salt with a homemade mixture of spices. Oftentimes seasoned salt will be on the rim of a Bloody Mary. Sugar for some drinks will be on the rim. Sometimes I've even seen them use those little confetti sprinkles on the rim of a glass. So keep in mind that little early warning flavor that you put on the rim of your glass can really affect it. So going back to spices, the nutmeg, the ginger, the cinnamon, basil, parsley, all of that kind of stuff, those can all be used in your drinks. If you want savory, you can make savory. Experiment, have fun. But remember, if you experiment, you'll get some gross shit. So be careful. Be careful. So I put this in front. I probably should have put it in the back. This is honey, guys. Honey is its own thing. It's kind of like simple syrup, but it's not. It comes obviously from bees. Honey is amazing. I have an old-fashioned that I make out of honey. I call it the honey old-fashioned. It is delicious, and it is different. It's just a little bit different. So when we talk about things like old-fashions, I'll talk about the different types of alcohol, because different alcohols have different flavor profiles. So I actually make a blend. We make a blend. Almost all of our old-fashions are made from Knob Creek and, I got it behind me here, Maker's Mark. Knob Creek and Maker's Mark, I do like a 50-50 for almost all of my old-fashions. So, but I make a honey old-fashioned. Honey is amazing. And you can do it in all kinds of other drinks. You probably use it as, just use it as a duplicate. If you have something that calls for simple syrup and you want it to taste a little bit more like honey, use honey instead of simple syrup. It's great. Speaking of simple syrups, sometimes if I am behind, if like we have people coming over and I need to make cocktails and I am out of simple syrup, I will go to the store and I will buy simple syrup. 9 times out of 10, I have simple syrup. I have 3 right here in front of me. They're almost out. I need to make them all. One of them isn't out. So, talking about old fashions. I have a homemade old fashioned that I call the maple pecan old fashioned. I make the simple syrup myself. What's it got in it? Maple and pecan. That's what it's got in it. You can see it's got a little sticky. I have it in an old maple syrup bottle, but it's dark. It is dark. Basically, you soak pecans in your liquid mixture, and maybe I'll do a recipe at some point. We can walk through making the maple pecan simple syrup, which makes awesome sugar pecan oven treats, by the way. The leftover stuff you would throw away, you roast in an oven with cinnamon and sugar, and it's delicious, so you don't throw it away. But maple pecan simple syrup. This is just a regular simple syrup. Simple syrup can be made multiple different ways. You put it in, you bring water to a boil. You usually do like a 50-50. So if you do a cup of water, you do a cup of sugar. Some people like it thicker, and they do a cup of water and 2 cups of sugar. Keep that in mind. You want to bring the water to a boil and slowly add and stir the sugar as you go. That's all I'm really going to say about that, but about the process and like the ingredients or whatever. But keep in mind that there are multiple different kinds of sugar. So I had this old creme brulee sugar laying around. It had a raspberry, a cappuccino flavor, a buttered rum flavor, praline flavor. You can get these. You can get cotton candy sugar that are all flavored. I use them to make flavored simple syrups. No infusing necessary. You can certainly infuse your own simple syrup. Make a simple syrup. Put whatever you want in there. Infuse it. Strain it out. Keep it in the refrigerator. You can certainly do that. I got the Flirty flavored sugar crystals. Amazing. Amazing, amazing stuff. Simple syrup, you need it. If you're making cocktails, you need simple syrup. Period. There's no workaround. Can you use sugar? Straight granulated sugar? Yes, in some cases. It's also a lot more work. because you have to get the sugar to dissolve, and therein lies the problem. When you're dealing with a cold drink, dissolving things like sugar and salt is a pain in the ass. So oftentimes, get simple syrup. You'll save yourself. An exception to the rule is a mojito. Don't use simple syrup. Use actual sugar in a mojito. There's your tip of the day. Other things you see like this, you get the little cubed sugar. Some things call for it. Some things call for the little cubes of sugar. So get the little cubes of sugar. Sometimes you'll need it. So that's what we're talking about for there. How many times have I said so? Maybe we'll make a counter. We probably won't because we don't have production on this show. Another drink that a lot of people like is a pina colada. But only if you like pina coladas. And we're not going to sing the rest of that song because it's kind of dirty. Making love in the rain. So, coconut cream. Cream of coconut. There's a couple different kinds that I'm going to tell you guys right now. Some of them are sweetened, and some of them are not. Some of them are very white and liquidy, and clear and liquidy. Some of them are not. This is a little bit thicker. This is a little bit more creamier. This is sweetened. This will save you time. If you get the non-sweetened stuff, remember that it's non-sweetened. Taste it. Figure out if you need to add more sugar or not. Read your recipe and look. If you have a recipe, they will say cream of coconut or coconut cream. They won't tell you which kind you need. If you have a recipe that says cream of coconut and it doesn't have sugar, they're probably talking about this pre-sweetened stuff. If they have lots of sugar in it, they're probably talking about the unsweetened stuff. Make a test run before you serve it to people to make sure what your flavor looks like. I love this stuff. It's delicious. I'll just have it on other stuff. Well, what do you want? Oh, you got Cheerios? So, all right. We're going to get to something else that is a lesson learned for me. Now, I, early on in my cocktail making life, had an experience with bitters. Something called for bitters. It didn't say how much. It just said some bitters. Don't put too much in. Don't put too much in intentionally. Don't put too much in accidentally. Put in a couple. If it says a couple dashes, that's like a drop-ish. Maybe a little more. Don't go like this and go boop and go, that's one dash. No. Go boop, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. The end, guys. 1, 2, 3. The end. Don't overdo it on the bitters, especially the Angostura bitters. Some of the other ones are flavored. You'll see I have them here. I've got a cardamom bitters. I've got a rhubarb bitters. I've got an orange bitters. I love the orange bitters. That's my go-to in a daiquiri is orange bitters. A lot of daiquiris call for regular bitters. Orange. I'm orange bitters all the way. Rhubarb and cardamom, obviously, they make all kinds. They make blueberry bitters. There's literally, you can go into places and there'll be shelf lined with bitters. You'll go into one place and they'll have 3 kinds of bitters. You go into another place, they'll have 3 kinds, but they're different kinds of bitters. Angostura bitters is the baseline. That's what they're all like. So, that is that. Now, past the bitters, you're going to be looking at juices. Lemon juices, lime juices, things like that. Orange juice. Now, are they mixers? Yes. Are they kind of a core thing in a drink? Yes. Sometimes if you're making a vodka orange juice and vodka, that's kind of right in there. That's like a main ingredient. It's not like a lot of these where it's just kind of a thing that adds to it. So, I didn't really bring any of them out. But 2 things that I did. Lemon juice, lime juice. Now, yes, this isn't lemon juice. For those that are watching, this is not lemon juice. This is key lime juice. My lemon juice bottle is ginormous, so I didn't bring it out. I love lime juice in my drinks, in my cocktails. Throughout my time, I've done both. I used to like the lemon juice. I hardly ever use lemon juice in my drinks anymore. It's almost always lime juice these days. Mostly because I just love the flavor profile style of lime. Lime juice and key lime juice is not the same. They both taste like limes, but they both, once you start to notice tastes and flavors, they taste different. Their rinds taste different. Their zest tastes different. Altogether, they taste different. I prefer key lime over lime in most things. Some things I don't. Again, these are juices. If you want, I would say get an actual orange or an actual lemon or an actual lime and juice them yourselves, guys. Get a juicer, juice it yourself. We talked about this in the tools. Get one yourself. These are all things that you can use to enhance them. Of these things, what do I think is the core? What do you, if you're going to build your own bar, what do I think you should have as your bar? Simple syrup, lemon juice, lime juice, bitters. Those four for sure. Sugar, get some sugar, and also depending on what drinks you like. If there is a particular drink you like and it calls for something, keep that in stock at all times. If you like yourself your pina coladas, make sure you always have your coconut cream on hand. Make sure you always have your pineapple juice on hand. If you like margaritas, make sure you always have your salt on hand. If you like Bloody Marys, make sure you always have your Tabasco sauce and horseradish and Worcestershire sauce. Make sure you have it. So, that being said, guys, this is my talk on some of the little add-ons that you can add to your drinks, whether it be, vanilla extract or, straight vanilla or apple cider vinegar or simple syrup or coconut cream or cherry juice or Grenadine, which is not the same thing as cherry juice. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little bit. Let me know what kind of stuff you want me to talk about in future videos, and we will do that. So thank you all for hanging out. You can click all the buttons. I'm not going to say what they all are because depending on where you're watching this, it depends on what to click. So thank you so much for watching. Again, I am Nick. I'm the host of Epic Realms. If you like awesome interviews, I do interviews with famous people. Every other week, I do an interview with someone famous, whether they're an author, a game designer, board game designer, actor, voice actor, whatever. Make sure to join. You can get the podcast anywhere you get podcasts. Just look for Epic Realms Podcasts. You can catch a lot of the old videos right on YouTube. You can catch them live and interact and chat and ask your own questions on Twitch. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out, and we will see you next time on Epic Realms Presents Cocktails.